So I am back after my somewhat 20-hour YouTube retirement hiatus. It just turns out that I had some low subscribers after all. More than I thought, actually. And through my own fault, I just realized I was being such an inconsiderate jerk and just didn't focus on all the people that were in the comment section of last night's video thinking it was going to be it. Some were suggesting I would just take a break from YouTube or take a break from filming stuff until football season. But I just feel like with this announcement that's come out today from Ole Miss, I feel like this is kind of important because I got some good stuff to say on it. So about the next 4 or 5 minutes, please tune in. I'm motivated today to do this because I feel like this could be something that you guys might agree with me, think I have some good points on. So today, Ole Miss. That is the team that's circulating around college football today. Hugh has resigned as the head coach for Ole Miss football. Not only does this affect the team, but it affects college football, actually. Because what have we seen over the last 2 years? They're one of only 3 teams that can have a theoretical shot of beating Alabama. So not only does this affect the Ole Miss team, it affects the SEC, and it affects college football in general. Because until that national championship game, who was the team that came closest to beating Alabama? It was Ole Miss. They had a 24-3 lead in that game. But Alabama came back storming right after that. So right now, this news is really Alabama fans and Alabama players, coaches, they're probably smiling at this news. Because Ole Miss is the only team in the SEC that can theoretically beat Alabama right now. I know some people would say LSU, but let's just face it. Everyone gets hyped for the Alabama-LSU matchup. It's been that way for about the last 3-4 seasons. And every single time Alabama just comes out with their A game, wins by like 17, 20, a ridiculous amount of points. And it just proves that Alabama's LSU's kryptonite in the SEC. So that's how it affects the SEC conference and college football. But how it affects Ole Miss is now they're now looking for a new coach. And Ole Miss is just screwed at this point. Because they waited until this whole thing came out about Hugh, like he was caught in a scandal of calling an escort service for recruits. This is almost very familiar with Louisville basketball, although it's not. It's something a completely different situation. It's similar qualities and characteristics, but it's kind of 2 different situations. Yes, escorts were called for recruits. And I'm willing to bet that a lot of these players that Ole Miss recruited, because Ole Miss used to be a bottom feeder in the SEC. But then, throughout the last 4 or 5 years, I was thinking Ole Miss could win a national championship with all these 4- and 5-star recruits that they were piling in the last 5 years. Because Ole Miss used to be a nobody in college football and in the SEC. But now, they're a team that's just been on the rise for the last 4 or 5 years. So now something could be adding up with why they're able to get all these 5-star recruits. Because normally when you get a 5-star recruit, you would theoretically think, okay, they'll sign with a team like Alabama or Ohio State or USC or Texas or Oklahoma. One of those teams that are in championship contention every single year. But Ole Miss was never even in championship contention until 2014, when they made it all the way to number 3 in the rankings. And that was after beating Alabama in quite a low-scoring game. So now things just are starting to add up with Ole Miss. And I kind of saw some tweets that it's probably almost confirmed, or they're almost speculating, that the players that were probably talked into with this escort service, or the escorts involved with it, were like Laquan Treadwell, Kem Dichie, and a lot of other Ole Miss players that were really talented and got to the NFL. So now, how Ole Miss is affected is they have no coach going into the season. So they should have done what they should have got rid of him. They should have fired him months ago, after the whole scandals and allegations even started by the NCAA. But now they have no coach heading into the season. But right now, what can Ole Miss do? Do they upgrade their offensive coordinator to head coach, like Oklahoma did when Bob Stoops announced his retirement last month? Or do they try and take a gamble and try to get somebody like Les Miles, who doesn't have a coaching job? If I'm Ole Miss right now, if I'm like the athletic director, I am getting Les Miles on the phone right now, or at least trying to get to him on the phone right now. Because it's July and Les Miles doesn't even have a Division I football coaching job. Which is really shocking to me. Because he's the Mad Hatter. He's a really underrated coach in my opinion. I mean, he did win a national championship. But a lot of people are saying that it's just a fluke. It's only a fluke because LSU just hasn't had quarterback consistency. Right now, Ole Miss has someone at quarterback who could change their program in Shea Patterson. So Ole Miss needs to consider getting Les Miles on that phone right now. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys to everybody that watched. I know I've been kind of frustrated with views lately, but I'm just going to try to accept that some people will view me and some will not. Anyway, subscribe, share this video with your friends and family. I will see you next time. And yes, there is going to be a next time. I'm here to stay. And I will see you next time. Have a great night, everyone.